Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on March the 19th, 2020. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our economic calendar here. And actually, just a few minutes ago here, we saw ECB announced a 750 billion euro package here in order to support the economy as well as the market. So they are looking to buy a lot of securities and actually keep everything propped up. So that was the latest. We have seen quick moves up or volatility in the market as a result of that. Other than that, in terms of our data here, a lot of negative numbers. And coming up in the Asian session here, we have core CPI numbers here for yen. And again, if these numbers, like we have seen others, come in below expectations, that will be negative for yen. And actually, in this regard, we have seen that Bank of Japan is also, they're doing a package as well. It doesn't say here, but they are also announcing a stimulus package. So it looks like all the different major central banks are announcing stimulus packages in order to support the economy as well as the markets. And in the Asian session also, we have employment numbers for Australia. They're expected to drop. Again, Australian dollar has really been hit hard by everything that's going on here. And if these numbers come in below expectations, we could see Australian dollar drop further. And then we also have RBA Governor Lau speaking. So like all the central banks are supporting their economies, we are likely to see more of that from RBA as well. And if they talk about cutting interest rate further, that would be negative for the Australian dollar. And on Thursday here, we have Swiss National Bank policy rate. They're not expected to cut at this point because they're already negative, but they are sure to introduce some sort of a package in order to support the economy as well. So keep an eye on that. We may see Swiss franc react to that. And then other than that, we have Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, unemployment claims here out of the US, and also President Trump speaking. So the US has been putting together a package potentially close to $1 trillion in terms of the fiscal response. So we did hear from Fed already, and they're supporting the markets, but at this point we haven't actually seen exactly what the fiscal package will be from the government. So President Trump may announce that, and that will also have an impact on the markets. Right now we are seeing volatility is crazy in the market, so we just need to be aware of these different announcements that are coming out because they will impact the market. So let's take a look at our charts here. So like we just saw here, I just talked about here, euro dollar jumped up as a result of the ECB package. So we did see a big drop here in euro and went right into 1.08, but we have seen a move back up. Part of it has been as a result of the ECB package. Now prices into support resistance level here, 1.0980. And I'm still looking for a further move to the downside. So I'm looking for something like this, prices into resistance, and I will look for a drop from here. So bearish bias here for euro dollar at this point. And in terms of the targets here, the first target would be 1.0880 and then 1.0800. So this is bearish. Looking at pound dollar here, pound has been dropping a lot. Floor seems to have fallen out of pound here, and we have not seen these levels in forever, in 35 years. I don't even have actually 2015 here, but prior to that, this was the only time we have seen a drop, and this was back with the Brexit stuff here. So now we are back into those. So bias is still to the downside, a huge, as we can see, drop here. In terms of the pullback here, It's hard to say because we have just seen one straight drop. So I would look for a pullback, potentially maybe even where it is currently into 1.1650, and then a drop or into 1.1720 level approximately. But basically I'm looking for a further drop here. Now do keep in mind that price has been dropping for a number of days here, and we have seen quite a big response here in terms of or quite a big drop here. So we could get pullbacks, or we could start getting pullbacks. So that's something we have to keep in mind. For now though, bias is bearish, and the target here is 1.1420 for pound dollar. Aussie dollar here, this one as well has just kind of dropped off of the cliff here. Bias is still bearish, big drop today, and now still looking for a further move to the downside. And this one again is into levels that we haven't seen in quite some time. Price is already below the 2008 levels, and now we are coming into 2002 levels here. So bias still bearish here. Next target is 0.5550. Actually, there will be another one. This is where we are, 5,700. And then potentially into 5650 and then 5550. So bias is to the downside for Aussie dollar here. New Zealand dollar, this one as well, bias is bearish. We have seen a big drop here as well, and looking for a further drop here. Next target is 5650, and below that we are looking at 5,600 and all the way potentially into 5520. So bias is bearish here for New Zealand dollar as well. Dollar CAD, this one's been another one that's just taken off, and again, we haven't seen these levels in a long time here, since 2016. So we are almost into the resistance here. Bias is still bullish, and we could get a pullback into 1.4435 potentially, and then looking for a further move to the upside. Or if you get a deeper pullback, we could see it come into 1.4400, and then looking for a further move higher. So a lot of this drop has to do with the oil price. Oil has been just dropping basically constantly for the last little while here, and as a result of that, Canadian dollar has been dropping, which is causing dollar CAD to go up, plus the strength in US dollar overall. So the two coming together has just been just caused the dollar CAD to go up. So bias is still bullish. I would look for a potential pullback into 1.4400, and then a further move to the upside. Target is 1.4680 for dollar CAD here. All right, let's take a look at commodities here. Silver, we saw a drop. It hasn't quite managed to drop below the support level here. So at this point, if price goes through the support here, I would look for 11.00. And in terms of the pullback, we are seeing a pullback, but we could see a deeper pullback into 12.50 potentially before it drops. But overall bias still remains to the downside. Now, one thing to keep in mind here is if price goes into support and holds above the third time, chances are very high that it's going to move higher. So keep that in mind. For now, though, bias still remains to the downside, but with caution. Gold dropped as well. It went into this resistance level and held below it, as we had talked about yesterday. Now, price hasn't managed to break below the support here. It's still making higher lows here, so we need to be careful. So bias still remains to the downside here. I will look for a potential retest of 1465 level here. Or it could just hold above this 1472 level, so that remains to be seen yet. But basically looking for a drop. However, just like silver, if it does not go through, we could see it go back up. So it's been trading in this range for the last few days, and we could see price go up higher. So watch out for that. But for now, bias is bearish. First target is 1465, second target 1450 here for gold. Oil here, oil dropped quite a bit, and 20.50 is the level that it got to. Now it is pulling back, like I said, with the stimulus package, especially when these packages come into the market or are announced at the times of low liquidity, like we have right now in the Asian session, before the Asian markets are even open all the way. So that pushes the market up, but then we'll have to see how this plays out in the European session and then into the New York session. If the price holds, it could go higher, but I'm still bearish on this. We could get a pullback into 24.80 or even into 26. And then if it holds below that, I will look for a further move to the downside here. So bias here is bearish for oil, and target is 20.50, and then below that we are looking at 19. So bearish bias for oil. Copper here, huge drop in copper. It's gone through all kinds of support levels that we had looked at, and now we are all the way into these levels from 2016. So bias is still to the downside. Next target is 2.04, and then below that we have 2.00. So bearish bias here for copper. Bitcoin here, Bitcoin's holding its own. It did drop here, but hasn't really, it's kind of held its own. So right now it's still holding below this 55.50 level. So if it stays here, it could drop further. We do have some bearishness, so we could see a move back into 44.50. Now, should it go through this resistance level though, then we are looking at, now let's move this a bit. So we're looking at 6,000 and then potentially higher into 64.50 or 6,500. So for now, I'm still looking for a move to the downside, but again, with caution, we have seen price reject the lower levels. So if it goes to the high, it could continue on higher. So watch out for that. S&P 500, so price dropped today and then it has pulled back. And now with the announcement from ECB, we are seeing this move to the upside. Now the test would be, can it go through 2,500? If it holds below 2,500, we could see price take a dip one more time. So that's something to watch out for. For now, this one's still looking bearish, but if it goes through that resistance of 2,500, we are looking at 25.60 and potentially all the way into 26.50. For now, though, I'm still kind of neutral to bearish here. It seems to be forming a bottom, but things are not out of the woods just yet. So we'll have to see how it responds. The critical level here is 2,500. If it holds below, I'm looking for another move to the downside, potentially to test this 22.80 level once again. Nasdaq here, same thing. We did see price go lower, but then it has pulled back and now it's going through today's high, and we could see price go all the way into 75.50, and that would be the level to watch out for. If it holds below, we could still see a drop, but this one is also starting to basically level out here. Price wasn't able to hold below the support level, and as such we could see price go higher, but the first target here is 75.50, and then we could see price move to the downside. But should it break through here, then we have further room to the upside. 79.80 will be next target for Nasdaq here. For now though, I'm more on the neutral side for this. And then we have Dow Jones here, same thing, a big drop, and then we have seen a pullback from there, and now price was dropping, but with the ECB package, we're seeing this go higher. And the test here would be 20,950 level. If price holds below that level, it's likely to come back down. So this one here still a little bearish to neutral here. It is starting to form a base here as well, although it did drop through the support. It wasn't able to hold there, which means we could see a further move to the upside. So 20,950 is the target. If it holds below, then again, we're likely to see another drop. So neutral here for Dow Jones. And then we have DAX here. DAX has also been neutral here. We did see a drop, but the candle close for the day here is neutral. And it hasn't managed to break through this support here. It's still holding above, which means we could see price go back up. So bias here is neutral for DAX. So especially with this package here, I would be looking for a move towards 91.80. And then if it goes through that, then we have more room here towards 99.80. So right now, a bias is neutral for DAX. FTSE here, same thing here. It hasn't quite broken through the support. I would look for a move higher, and the test here would be 53.65. If it holds below this level, or 53.80, if it holds below this level, I would look for price to come back into this range again. So it's starting to sort of form that bottom, but again, it could just do one of these and then continue lower. So that's something we have to wait for. For now, bias is neutral for FTSE. And then Nikkei here. Nikkei hasn't really moved very much. We did see a drop, but again, this one's leveling out as well. The price wasn't able to hold below this below yesterday's low, so it's still holding here. So I would say neutral bias here. This one is likely to actually go back down. I will look for a retest of 16,550 or 16,250, and then if it holds above, then we're likely to see price go back up. So for now, a bias is neutral for Nikkei, and the target is 16,550 and 16,250. So that's it for today. Market is still looking very, very volatile. So watch out for that. We are seeing these knee-jerk reactions every time there's an announcement. Price tends to move, and then it kind of goes back to wherever it wants to go to. So keep an eye on this. And in order to just look at the Forex moves, we do need to keep an eye on what's happening in the stock market. So that's something to watch out for. So that's it for today. Have a wonderful trading day, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.